What is going on? It is Nate the Game Guy coming back with another video at hand, and today I want to talk about problems when collecting for the PlayStation 3. Now, the PlayStation 3 is a console I wholeheartedly enjoy. I love collecting for it. I love its overall selection of its games for its library. I wholeheartedly recommend that you should collect for the PlayStation 3. Now, of course, when collecting for the PlayStation 3, it isn't all sunshine and rainbows when collecting for the console. In this video, I'm going to be going over a few problems that I have gone through myself when collecting, and some that I thankfully not have come across, but I know that they are a thing. So without further ado, let's jump right into this video's topic right after the intro. Now, the first problem that I want to talk about when it comes to collecting for the PlayStation 3 are sticky analog sticks. I don't know what it is about Sony with the DualShock and 6-axis controllers, but those things have a tendency to stick, whether it's for PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and of course PlayStation 3, since this is what the whole video is all about, problems collecting for the PlayStation 3. Those analog sticks will stick. Now, I'm not talking about when you're playing a game that you move like the right stick or the left stick and like the camera angle gets stuck or your character gets stuck. That's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about is when you put your thumbs on top of the analog sticks and they just feel sticky, like there's some kind of sticky substance on there. I don't know about you, but I don't like it when I'm playing a game and like the analog sticks or whatever feels sticky. I don't like that. It's not comfy. It's annoying. I hate it, right? And unfortunately, that is a problem that you will encounter if you collect for the PlayStation 3 long enough. Now, a few ways to go about it, and I would say the main way that you can go about it is obviously the obvious, right? Try to avoid the controllers that have the sticky surface. Or you could do instead, if you come across a controller with sticky analog sticks, you could always buy replacement analog sticks online, take out the bad ones, replace them if you feel bold enough and willing enough. But I will say that is a huge pet peeve of mine when it comes to collecting for older PlayStation consoles, obviously PS3 included, are the sticky analog sticks. I hate those. Continuing the theme when it comes to PlayStation 3 controllers are the rechargeable batteries. Now, rechargeable batteries are very easy and convenient in this day and age. You don't have to worry about keeping AA's on the side, them dying, going out to the store and buying them when they do die. It's just a lot more convenient. You just plug it into the recharge cable to your console. You're good to go, right? But here is the problem when it comes to rechargeable batteries. This isn't just with PlayStation 3. This is with all game consoles in general. Unfortunately, rechargeable batteries do not last forever. And what I mean by this is, yes, even though you can recharge it and all that stuff, right? There will be a day, unfortunately, where the battery inside of these things will not charge anymore. They will not hold a charge. And essentially what you've got is useless paperweight. And it sucks. Of course, there are ways that you can buy new rechargeable batteries that you can get for these controllers, where again, if you feel bold enough, you can take apart these controllers, swap out the batteries with new ones in the case that unfortunate day does come that your controller will no longer turn on, no longer will charge, and it is essentially useless. Now, thankfully, I think in this day and age, this isn't a problem that's very common yet. I'm sure it's happened to some people already. Me personally, it hasn't happened to me yet, but I will say that is something to keep in mind when it comes to collecting for the PlayStation 3, or the lifespan of these rechargeable batteries inside of these controllers. Now, another problem to keep in mind when it comes to the long-term usage of the PlayStation 3 are the hard drives. Unfortunately, the hard drives will die out over time. And sadly, this has been a problem that some people have been facing already, where essentially they've tried to boot up a game, access a game save, access an update or whatever it is. and the console will just not allow the user to start up the game that's saved on the hard drive or finish that update, or just a host of other things that are all memory related. A big recommendation that I recommend for people when it comes to using the PlayStation 3 over time and trying to make sure that you don't lose those game saves, back them up on a flash drive or an external drive, right? I personally back my saves up on a flash drive with all the updates, the game saves, the DLC, all that wonderful stuff. It's backed up on the hard drive. So in case if one day, you got to rip out your old hard drive on your PlayStation 3, swap it out with a new one, do your thing and all that wonderful stuff. Thankfully, all your DLC and updates and game saves and games saved on your hard drive are not going to be completely gone. I strongly recommend keeping some flash drives and external drives on the side so that way you can protect your stuff in case if that day comes where you will have to replace the hard drive. Now thankfully this isn't a problem that I've come across me personally, but I have seen this online when it comes to people that own the PlayStation 3 and use it and all that wonderful stuff. So that is something that I strongly recommend people to keep in mind when it comes to collecting for the PlayStation 3. Now, a personal pet peeve of mine when it comes to collecting for the PlayStation 3 is there's not very many PlayStation 3 models that allow for backwards compatibility. Back in the day when Sony launched the PlayStation 3, there was the 20GB model and the 60GB models that were launched onto the market. However, with these consoles, they allowed for backwards compatibility through PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 onto these consoles. You had the entire access of the library of both consoles to play on the PlayStation 3 back during that time. However, as time went on, Sony decided to cut costs for the PlayStation 3 because a lot of people were complaining about the PlayStation 3 being a really expensive console on the market. So in order for Sony to cut costs and be able to still maintain a profit, they got rid of the backwards compatibility so that way it would not be as expensive to produce the PlayStation consoles later down the line. It is rather unfortunate that circumstance did happen because I really enjoyed the feature with the consoles itself. Now, I personally don't own a backwards compatible PlayStation 3. However, I have used one before in the past, and it is rather unfortunate. Now, I don't remember all the models at the top of my head that allow for backwards compatibility, but I know one of them is the CECH-A01 models of the PlayStation 3. So, of course, if you are collecting for PlayStation 3, I do recommend checking out the backwards compatible PlayStation 3 because if you don't feel like having the original hardware for PS2 and PS1, but you just want to have that extra access of games that you can play, I would strongly recommend picking up one of those models of the PlayStation 3 because, like I said, you have an access to a ton of great games. Plus, of course, the PlayStation 3 library as well. But yeah, that is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine is that not all PlayStation 3 models are backwards compatible. Now, one problem that's worth noting when it comes to collecting for the PlayStation 3 is the yellow light of death. Now, thankfully, this is a problem that I have personally not encountered, but it is a problem that is worth noting about. The yellow light of death is exactly what the name suggests. You turn on your PlayStation 3, instead of getting the green light when it turns on or the red light when it's turning off, you get the yellow light. And unfortunately, once you get that, your PlayStation 3 is essentially bricked. You cannot use it, you cannot play it. It is essentially paperweight, just sitting there on your shelf. And a few causes that do cause the yellow light of death are the bad thermal paste inside, a short on the motherboard, bad capacitors, along with a host of other problems as well. Of course, I would strongly recommend when it comes to collecting for the PlayStation 3 is obviously have a way to test it out just to make sure that it's all on the up and up, it's good to go, and that you can actually use it. Now, thankfully, the yellow light of death is not as common as the red ring of death, thank God, but unfortunately, it is a thing, it does exist, but I will say, at least with me personally, I personally wouldn't worry about the yellow light of death overall, but I will say, at least be aware of it, recognize that it is a thing that exists, And just keep in mind, you may come across it when it comes to collecting for the PlayStation 3. Alright, and that is going to conclude my video for problems when collecting for the PlayStation 3. What do you guys think of the video? Did you find it entertaining, informative, any of that good stuff? Feel free to comment in the comment section down below. I'd love to see what you guys have to say. Give this video a like if you did enjoy. Helps boost it up into the YouTube algorithm so more viewers such as you can find videos just like this. And of course, please do consider subscribing because I post a lot of content when it comes to game collecting tips, other video game related subjects. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, please do consider subscribing. But if you're going to subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell notification button so that way you will be notified when I upload a video just like this. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.